Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Sarcastic here with part 2 of the post New York City regional wrap up. So I didn't get to talk much in the last video about meta as a whole, so that's what this one's about. So we've been kind of constantly looking and seeing that I don't know, it's weird to say it, because like the way I want to say it, or the way it would come out of my mouth, is fucking shit terrible. So I'm now trying to actively think of how to say this without it being so shitty, and I'm pretty terrible at that. But the breakdown is, like, in certain areas you're seeing kind of the meta evolve. In other areas you're not really seeing it make that evolution. So what I would say, like in the Northeast region, Vader really doesn't make as much of a splash currently, unless it's like they're much stronger players. We're seeing a ton of Snoke making the rounds. In the top 8 that we just had, we had 4 Snoke Sienna rainbow decks. It was 3 with Rebel Trader, me with Bala. We had Vader Bazine, I believe it was Dooku Towson. That was fucking Ed Chen, because he's crazy. Vader Bazine was Isaac. We had Joe Kwiatek with Yoda Leia 3, and then Kyle Warren, Airwood Gaming, with... I just couldn't figure out how to say freaking Leia in my head. Leia 2 Yoda, so the mill deck. So there were 2 Yoda Leias, but one was the mill, one was the 3, AoE splash damage. So it was pretty much split 50% for us, and then the other ones, it was me, Paul from Arrowbrook, Lawler, who's also from Highlander, I believe, and Dave Caruana, also Arrowbrook. So it was like big on Arrowbrook there. Hold on a second. And yeah, so top 4 though ended up being 3 Rainbow Snoke Sienna decks and Vader Bazine. So like that goes to show you like the overall power that they have. But like in other metas, like the deck's seeing a little bit of play. You're seeing like 1 making it to top 8s, but there's probably not a ton of people playing it. Realistically, it's primarily a Looper and or Arrowbrook Gaming deck that you're seeing. I played it in CT, and after that it's made bigger splashes from the groups. So I expect you to see a lot more of it. I'm kind of quite surprised we're not seeing it as much out west. So like I think it's a really, really strong deck, and it answers a lot of the meta right now. So like over here, we're kind of like already trying to counterplay each other with that. Like I was running Bala, who is much better in theory in the mirrors, but he's weaker overall against the field, or a lot of the field, because Rebel Trader is just much better removal wise. So you guys definitely want to get in the loop, whether it's with Hyperloops or Arrowbrook, to get an understanding how to play that. If you guys have any regionals left and you're already not part of our groups, that's a big thing. Where if you can at least learn how to play against it, maybe you can try to counter it or know what's going on. But if you don't have any semblance of an idea of what's happening, you're likely to just get ruined. The deck is very good. It's not currently God tier yet. Not to me, at least. It needs to kind of not have a 50-50 match, or like kind of severe negatives, I guess. I think we've cleared up the mill match enough, or at least the mill match is just such a shit fest as far as like how the deck was concerned. They had to like try to be able to beat mirrors and like certain decks over and over that just don't. Some of those cards just don't work very well versus us. But overall, I think the Northeast meta is just like, all right, we're gonna play Snoke, but it's also like the much stronger players. You're seeing the same strong players make these top cuts, or barely bubble out as X and 2. So maybe just that we don't play, the Vaders or a lot of us aren't playing the Yoda Leia. Maybe that's what it is, but I think as a whole, you're seeing the meta evolve. You've seen Yoda Leia try to dominate, and Snoke Tarkin go, well, we're better than you, and then they dominate, but then Vader's like, well, I kill Snoke Tarkin, get the hell out of my face. With that circle stuff, we're seeing, random, you'll see other decks come in, Towson Beckett's and Han Yoda's, but I think, realistically, if we sit down and we're looking for what a lot of these decks are doing very well, we're gonna like end up with kind of like the circle of like tier 1 level stuff. So it's just like, all right, Yoda does the jumping, Yoda or like Han Kira does like the jump decks very well. We've got the pretty much Snoke Rainbow vehicle setups with Fist. We've got Snoke Tarkin with all the indirect. We've got the mill decks, both 2-wide and 3-wide. Vader is always being that linchpin kind of gatekeeper guy. That's a big pain in the ass. Sorry. But so I think if we're seeing more 3-wide, or you guys start seeing 3 more wide, you're going to see a lot more Fear and Dead Men. You're going to see potentially removal make a slight comeback, the cheaper removal, because like we're getting really big dice out with Snoke 3-wide. People aren't really coping with it. But like I think we saw Vader take it down in like 2 events. Kylo Wolf, one of them maybe. I can't remember if they said Kylo Wolf beat the Vader deck or Vader beat Kylo Wolf. But that was interesting enough. So, like, I'm actually kind of surprised about that one, not going to lie. Kudos to that guy. I know we saw Vader from the Harvey or Harveys, both of them maybe, in London. Was it? Yeah, I think it was London. So like that's cool. Scott McDonald, I believe, said he won his event that was in the UK, I believe, as well. So like we're seeing Vader kind of like make a comeback, because if Snoke Tarkin's being heavily played, like Vader's very good into that match, like really, really good. So it'll be interesting to see where we end up. We've got New Jersey in 2 weeks. New Jersey's going to be like another rehashing of pretty much the same kind of groups of people that went to Connecticut and or New York, kind of bashing it out. So it'll be definitely very interesting to see what ends up happening there. Me and Bobo Mike might make the trip down there. Who knows? Maybe we can talk McQuenka into going. Just to show some support for the community. Times are a little bit tough with availability for scheduling, but who knows? Maybe we can make the trip down there, make it a day trip, and then I'd just crash at Mike's house. But god damn it, I can see the shit with my peripheral, so now I'm just like fucking up the visuals. But I guess the visuals don't actually matter. But yeah, so I would say expect to see a potential rise in like Yoda Leia 3, but if Vader is still sticking around, like that deck really can't fight too well there. Rainbow Snoke, for anyone that gets in on those discords, like I said, that deck's very, very strong. The dilemma is that you're realistically not going to see a list from either of our groups publicly until after regional season, pretty much for very good reason. You're going to see, like, you might start seeing Vader Red potentially, depending on who's in the know and who's really trying to force it. I think you will see a pretty large step back from things like Beckett Towson, which we've already seen. Yoda Leia is going to take, I think, a step back. We're going to see a step back from 3-wide mill. Tarkin Snoke is going to have to take a step back. It's really going to boil down to, like, what people look at for what just happened this recent week and what they want to do again. Like, if Tarkin Snoke takes a step back, then Mill can try to come forward again. But if 3-wide is making the Mill matchup, like, really hard for them, like, that's also a good option. It's really going to go down to like what Vader's doing, because you can play Vader with a bunch of removal, you can play Vader like gung ho, you can force a bunch of different things going on. So like he's very good at keeping some of the decks that keep like 3-wide Snoke potentially in check. So it's really interesting where we've gone with the meta so far, and whether it ends up being, you know, Rebel Trader or Balatik that ends up taking over there. But it's, I don't know, it's kind of fun at times. Hopefully we get some great things going on stream. Speaking of streams, I've been pretty amazed at the amount of effort being put in to get the streams going. Like, realistically, once it's set up, there's not a whole ton. Like, we are often getting the stream feed to somebody else, and that person's commentating over it, which overall is just like amazingly great for the community. I'm really, you know, happy and proud of you guys for getting a lot of that stuff done. What else is there? What else did well? I don't know. So, like, I'm wondering if we're gonna see Vandalizes make a potential run again. Not for hitting like big vehicles, but for, all right, you know, I'm playing this deck, it's very weak against mill, let me just put a couple Vandalizes to answer, let's say, Force Jump, and then just try to get in there, like force them to cast their mitigation, as opposed to just being able to jump, and then like cost you cards in hand, you know. I really don't know. We'll kind of see what ends up going down. There's, I think the week of February 9th doesn't have any regionals as far as the US is concerned. It looked like it was like a weird-ass blackout date. At least I thought it was then. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know, as far as international is concerned, we, like, the season goes through, like, March or something. Sounds a little crazy. Hopefully, when, you know, the Patreon, like, lists get released, doesn't have much of an effect on those guys. But I know a lot of the guys going real strong overseas, so they'll be able to like hold on no matter what. But anyone more or less wondering, the Snoke 3-wide build is not predicated on delve and big ass fucking vehicles. I think you people that do that shit are crazy. Poem. I saw you, Mr. Rich Kopax, with your crazy ass delves and friggin' it's that 5-drop yellow vehicle. I can't even remember that shit. Pirate speeder tank. Y'all be crazy, man. Like, I like big vehicles, but you guys take it to the next level. Try to make my shit affordable. But we'll see how stuff ends up going. I'd love to get on stream at some point and you know, ball a machine gun somebody for like old time's sake. But that doesn't seem super likely to occur. I keep like losing early rounds, and then you guys just never get to see me. But who knows? Maybe I can go back to New Jersey and defend my crown. But like, realistically, I think even if I got to the finals, I would just scoop at that point, because there's nothing in it for me. Not anymore, at least. But we'll definitely see how this goes. I'm trying to think what else is there. I don't know, guys. Don't have a whole lot for you. I got it to work, and my brain is just not ticking in the Star Wars Destiny gear mode yet. What else do we got? I'm always intrigued by Bazine versus Greedo. Like, there's just so many sides of Bazine I hate, and like, I feel like I just want the damage, but like, it is nice to have some control sides. It's nice to have, what, the resource there. The special for 3s can be very good to poke a guy down while you're doing stuff. But like, I don't know. Bazine, man, Bazine. Hit them natty specials. Crush somebody. Crush that fool. But the event, like I said, was very good. I was very happy with it. I guess if I was going to try to counter the meta in New Jersey, I'd be looking for something that's built upon like Umbara tank, Leia 3, anything that deals with the 3 wides. Like, you want to not, you pretty much are gonna struggle probably through Swiss, but if you can make a top cut, you could potentially end up getting very solid pairings. Like I said, Aerobrick Gaming and myself were just heavy on that 3 wide base, so you know, maybe that opens it up things for people a little bit. Also puts you in a good spot versus like Shadowcaster and stuff. It's just that, like, if you sit across from a Vader, you're gonna like cry. So let's talk about playing, just because I don't really talk to you guys too much about a lot of that stuff. So when you guys play it, if you're not thinking about why you're doing something on kind of like each and every action, you really need to. You know, there's going to be times where you feed to 3, and then let's say you play a Vader Saber, and you're going to hit like 3-3-4 or something, and it's going to be obscene. But there's going to be more times than not where you find like your Vader Saber gets controlled, and then you're trying to look for a pay side and you can't, and you know, because you have no money now, you can't really throw out mitigation, maybe you're re-rolling shields, and it's just really not pretty, guys. So you definitely want to like take those things into consideration with what you're doing. Like, think about your plays. There was a bunch of times where I feel like people really weren't thinking about, you know, what their play is. They're like, oh, well, I'll do this, blah, blah, blah. But like, I would, you know, go out of my way to make my thing like one action faster. I definitely had some crazy plays where like someone didn't have money, they were going to be able to like, so against my Yoda Leia 3 match, he was going to be able to action chain me to resolve a bunch of damage, and I think get up to like 3 resources if I paid him. So my concern there was that I was going to get jumped. So then so when I did stuff, I did a bunch of focus to show all indirect, and just smashed like 9 indirect at him while he had no resources, and then like wasn't going to have an answer for it. I can't get easy picked, I don't have to worry about him jumping away, which in theory may have been kind of wrong at the end. I probably should have set it up so that I could just do damage, then he could cast like mitigation or something, and then I could like clean battlefield and get out of there. But something I'll have to think about at a later date as I like review my internal notes. Me having the light on is freaking me out when I keep looking in the mirrors or the windows, because I'm getting like minor reflections on some stuff, and I'm just like, oh shit, what the hell is that? But definitely think about your plays, why you're doing something. Think about your mulligans, you know, why you're keeping certain cards, why you're looking for certain cards, what are you trying to force in this play, how bad is it for you, is this the only way you win? Like, is this the only way you win? Is probably one of the things that most people just don't think about, and they should. There's gonna be times where you're just in such a terrible position that the only way you win is by doing, you know, this one play and hoping for that like 20 or 25% chance, or even sometimes like 7%, and kind of getting out of there scot-free, or like crushing and coming back, you know. But like being aware of when you're forced into it and when you're not forced into it, it's going to be very big things. We're actively seeing the players of old get better and better. We're seeing a lot of new players come in. It's definitely really important to make sure that, you know, you're putting in the time if you want to go to the big events. And like I say this, like, this is some huge thing. This isn't like Magic the Gathering or something where there's a ton of money involved. Realistically, a lot of us are just playing for pride and fun and enjoyment overall. But if your goal is to go in, you know, you want to get those prizes. I'm not telling you that you want to get the prizes. I'm saying if you wanted to get the prizes, then, you know, you definitely want to put in the additional time. You want to know what's going on. Look into the, you know, some of the communities as far as that play well. It's a lot of the stuff's cheap. Artificery's free, but they have the paid ones where you can actually learn, you know, see the videos and different stuff. I think the ABJ game, Aerobrick Gaming one is like $1. Get you into the basic stuff, but you can pay the more expensive to get to the videos, like their playtesting videos, and I think like deck lists and stuff. You know, ours obviously the Hyperloops $3 gets you into the Discord. And it, like, there's so much talk there, and like deck building, different stuff, and people putting up their own lists. And then like 10 gets you, all the lists I'm working on, and the tournament prep tier. I haven't really looked at Your Destiny, but Your Destiny has it as well. So realistically, if you guys are looking to get into, be at the top tables, get into like the top plate, like if you're not currently there, then if you want to kind of fast forward progress, it's best that you get into at least one of the communities. You want to check out the vids, you want to like understand what's going on, you want to ask questions. Asking tons of questions is probably the best thing you can do. Like, deck lists don't often matter nearly as much as understanding why decisions are made, and different things. Like, a couple of guys in coaching recently mentioned, the whole decision point on why Balatik or why Rebel Trader, and the pros and cons and the things that change by changing the lineup. And like it kind of just being a whole new world is something they never really considered. It's definitely a huge thing. A lot of people really don't think about it. For a lot of my lists, there are always like interchangeable parts because I'm always on like 3 guys, and it's just like, all right, well, what do I want from this one piece? So, like, if you look at it, right, the guy from Australia, I can't not recall his name. He took out Elite Ezra from Yoda Rookie Ezra, and put in a Cassian, single die Cassian, and for him, like, that's working immensely. It's great. But like that, in theory, that's very different from the intended purpose of what the deck was built upon. But like that's perfectly fine. There's ways to do that, So like you play, you try to figure out what's good, what's not good, with these situations, what you're looking for things to do. But overall, like that's it. Wish you guys the best. Hope things go well. I want to see you guys do well. I want to see you guys crush me. So best of luck with everything, and hopefully I get to see you guys at some events, see you guys at Gen Con, Continentals, Worlds, whatever big events we can make it out to. Gen Con housing already went out, so definitely something to keep track of if you're thinking about making the trip to Continentals. But trying to think if there's anything else I got for you guys. No, that's pretty much it. But you guys have a great one. Thanks for listening, watching. I feel like I wasn't as good right here as I normally am, but I've probably already done like 3 videos, and I really can't even remember half of the stuff that I'm saying, as well as like which ones I said on what. And the public one I just dropped now because I was an idiot and forgot to hit it earlier. But yeah, thanks for watching. You guys have a good one. I'm Sarcastic. Out. Deuces.